So I think what's happening when I jump and hit the wall is that, remember, it was colliding many times as I held the forward key down? So what's happening is it's starting that sound over and over and over, and it never actually has time to play it because it keeps trying to start over until I let go of the forward button, and then it finally plays the sound. Let's try one thing here. Instead of play, let's try play one shot. We'll try this again. It's giving me an error. Play one shot takes 0 arguments. Let me go back to that. And I have no arguments in here, nothing inside the parentheses. Okay, I looked it up on the API. I misread the error. It says there is no method for play one shot that does take 0 arguments. So it's expecting some arguments. And one of the arguments it expects is the clip. So I can use src.clip, the clip that is attached to that audio source. Let's save this and try running again. So now it's playing over and over and over every time I collide with the wall. It plays immediately, but it's playing too many times. One solution may be to only play the sound if it is not already playing. Let's add some code to do that. I'm going to wrap this line of code inside of an if statement. Make sure you have the beginning curly brace and the close curly brace. The line of code inside we're going to change to say src.play. When do we want to play the sound? We want to play it when it's not already playing. We can do that by saying exclamation point, that is our not, and src, which is our audio source, dot is playing. Save this again and run it. The error did go away. And now if I run into the wall, so it's not repeating constantly. Now what it's doing is when I hit a wall, it plays, and then if it finishes the sound and I'm still running towards the wall, it'll play again. So it does feel like it's repeating, but it's only repeating after it finishes the first time. We're going to have to be a little creative to solve this one. I'm going to create a public variable, one that we can set in the editor, that will tell us how long we have to wait between each sound before we play another. I'll give it a default value so that when somebody attaches the script, it'll already have something showing in the editor, and we'll use 2 to indicate 2 seconds. I'm also going to create a private variable to let me know how long it's been since the last sound played. This will not be something set in the editor, which is why we're making it private. And it makes sense that this would start out at 0, since no sound has yet played. Now the coloring seems to be off here, and that is because I have not been adding the type with my definitions. You cannot define a variable without telling it what type of variable it is. This will be of type float, as will this. With these 2 pieces of information, we should be able to determine if I should play the sound or not. We're going to need an update method, after all, to keep track of how much time has passed. So each time we're going to increase the time since last sound, and we're going to increase that by the time since the last time the update method was called. Then inside of my onControllerCollider hit method, instead of checking if it is playing or not to decide if I can play it again, I will use the time since last sound. If time since last sound is greater than time between sounds, then we're going to play it. And we're also going to set the time since last sound back to 0. Alright, let's see if this creative solution works or not. If I run to the wall, very nice. If I just hold it down pressing forward, it plays, and then it waits 2 seconds to play again. And you could change that to a different value if you'd like. I'm going to press escape and look at my first person controller. I'm going to close this audio source. This is the script we're working with, collision behavior. It currently has time between sounds as 2. You could make that 4 if you wanted to. Run it again. The wall. Wonderful. I'm not sure if it hit immediately when I did it. I'm going to stop it and run it again just to double check. didn't. It had a delay. If I hit it again, it's immediate that time. And that time it wasn't because it hadn't been 4 seconds. If I wait 1, 2, 3, 4 and hit it, immediate. 1, 2, 3, 4 and hit it. Good. But that first time it didn't hit immediately. And that's because it hadn't been 4 seconds yet. Really what we want is the very first time, before I've ever hit the wall, we should have time since last sound be the same as time between sounds. We want to make sure that it's okay that we can hit it immediately. So I'm not going to give a value here, because in the editor they may change the 2 to a 4 or some other value. I'm going to do it in the start method. I don't need this debug.log anymore. I'm just going to set the time since last sound equal to the time between sounds, so that immediately when the game begins, it already knows that yes, it's okay to play the sound. It's been at least that long since the last sound is played. Let's run this one more time. And yes, it played immediately that time.